To say to Congresswoman Victoria Spartz from the state of Indiana, who's joining us this evening, sometimes the heavens produce someone in the Congress at a moment in history that becomes pivotal. And as I introduce her, I thank her extremely for her excellent participation in the Ukrainian caucus, her leadership, and her ability to change her schedule at any point in order to be a strong voice for liberty. No one knows better than she what it's like to live under a tyrannical, repressive regime. So I yield time to the gentlelady from Indiana.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Congresswoman Kaptur, and thank you, Congresswoman Brian Fitzpatrick, for your bipartisan leadership. And I know that this special order is about the situation in Ukraine, but the situation in Ukraine goes beyond Ukraine. It is a threat to the stability of the world order, the largest threat since World War II, and a threat to any democracy. I would also like to remind us that millions of our predecessors died for freedom, peace, and democracy. I would like to read some excerpts from the recent joint statement of the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China, dated February 4, 2022. Today, the world is going through momentous changes, and humanity is entering a new era of profound transformation. It sees transformation of the global governance, architecture, and world order. A trend has emerged towards redistribution of power in the world. Frozen quotes. The sides note that Russia and China, as world powers, have long-standing traditions of democracy, which rely on thousands of years of experience. They stand ready to work together with all the interested partners to promote genuine democracy. I know that President Putin is not going to listen to me, and not sure if to anyone else, but I hope he still has to listen to the Russian people, at least a little bit. I am not naive in his personal ambitions, although I would still offer him an olive branch if he really cares about his people and his country. Therefore, I'm going to direct my message to over 3 million Russian Americans. I'm talking to you as a congresswoman representing the great state of Indiana, who grew up under communism in the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. I was born in the country that doesn't exist anymore, and for a good reason, as many of you too. I know that many of you have relatives in Russia in dual citizenship. I know that Putin has powerful anti-American propaganda on his TV. I was somewhat surprised of its extent. It's worse than during the Soviet Union times. I want you to let Russian people know that neither the United States nor the West are a threat to Russia's national security. I would argue that Russia has a much bigger threat coming from the East, is a very aggressive economic expansion of China in Far East and Siberia. I would also like to make it very clear that the American people do not want another one Europe. I also want to remind you of a human cost of any war. If Russia starts a war in Ukraine, which looks more and more likely, a lot of young people would have to die from both sides. No one will benefit from it. Maybe the Chinese Communist Party, but not the Russian people. I just do not believe that Russian people would want to go into history as a puppet to the imperialistic ambitions of China and would want to promote a so-called genuine democracy of the Chinese Communist Party. The ball is in your court. Решение за вами, President Putin and Russian people. I hope you will be on the right side of history. I also would like to share a message with my fellow Americans. Do not get distracted and do not get reluctant. A threat to our freedoms from outside and within is real. Protect and cherish our freedoms so our children do not have to fight to get them back. I yield back to gentlelady from Ohio.